Long ago, in a time forgotten by most, there lived a mighty warrior. His name was Kelechi. Known for his unmatched skills on the battlefield, he was revered by his people. But as fate would have it, the greatest threats do not always come from the enemy in front of you. Kelechi was betrayed not by an enemy, but by those he called brothers. Promised wealth and power, they lured him into a trap where he was ambushed and killed. Left to die alone in the wilderness, his final moments were filled with rage, a fury that would not fade, even in death. Sound of the wind howling, leaves rustling. But death is not the end. The betrayal festered within Kelechi's spirit, growing stronger with each passing generation. His body may have been buried, but his soul remained, restless, vengeful. And now, as the years have passed, his rage has found a way back into the world of the living. In a small village at the edge of the forest, the descendants of those who betrayed Kelechi live in peace, unaware of the doom that looms over them. Among them is a young man named Aid. He is no warrior. He does not carry a sword or shield, but his fate is tied to the ghost warrior in ways he cannot yet imagine. At the break of dawn, Aid wakes from another nightmare. It is the third one this week. Each time, the same vision, a shadowy figure standing at the edge of the forest, staring, watching. He has spoken to no one about it, for who would believe that a mere dream could be a warning? It's nothing, Aid tells himself, just a dream. But the cold sweat on his skin says otherwise. He feels it in his bones. Something is wrong. In the village square, the usual bustle fills the air. Children play, merchants sell their goods, and the elders gather to discuss the latest harvest. But Aid feels disconnected, as if the world around him is a distant echo, and he is trapped in the silence of his own thoughts. The villagers whisper of strange happenings. The sky, once bright and clear, has turned gray, and a thick fog now clings to the trees that border the village. Birds have gone silent, and at night, an unnatural chill fills the air. Elder voice. The curse has awakened, says the village elder one evening as he stirs the flames of a dwindling fire. His voice trembles, not from age, but from fear. The warrior's spirit has risen, and if we do nothing, he will take us all. The elder speaks of an ancient tale, a story passed down from one generation to the next. Few remember it in detail, but all know its warning. A betrayed warrior, whose anger could tear apart the very land beneath their feet. His rage grows with every generation, and now, the time has come for vengeance. But what the elder does not say is perhaps the most important detail of all. The key to stopping the warrior lies not in the strength of arms, but in Aid himself, for he carries the bloodline that betrayed Kelechi, and only through him can the curse be broken. In the stillness of the night, as the wind whispers through the trees, Aid feels a presence. He knows now that this is not just a dream. The ghost warrior is real, and his wrath is coming for them all. What Aid does not yet understand is that he, and he alone, holds the power to end this nightmare. But to do so, he must journey to a place where no living man dares to tread, the spirit world. The days pass, but the darkness lingers over the village like a thick, suffocating blanket. Crops that once grew tall and strong begin to wither and die. Livestock falls ill with no explanation, and the villagers grow restless. Villager 1. It's the curse, one mutters to another as they look at their shriveled crops. The warrior's spirit is angry. Everywhere Aid looks, the signs are there. The village is dying, and with it, so is hope. But while the villagers grow fearful, Aid feels something deeper, a pull, a connection to the darkness that none of them can see. Elder, you've felt it, haven't you? The elder asks one evening, as Aid helps him tend to a small fire outside his hut. Aid, felt what? Aid's voice wavers, though he knows exactly what the elder means. Elder, the curse, the spirit, it has awakened, and it has marked you, boy. Narrator. Before Aid can protest, the elder reaches out, pulling back Aid's sleeve to reveal a strange mark, a dark, twisted scar that seems to pulse with a life of its own. It wasn't there before, and yet somehow, Aid has always known it would be. Aid, shocked. What does it mean? Elder gravely. It means, the elder whispers, that you are tied to the warrior's fate. Your bloodline is the reason he was betrayed, and only through you can his wrath be stopped. The elder's words strike Aid like a blow. All his life, he thought himself ordinary, just a simple villager. But now, he knows the truth. He is the last descendant of the men who betrayed Kelechi, and it is because of him that the village now suffers. For a moment, fear grips Aid's heart. But then, something else rises within him, determination. He may be tied to the curse, but he refuses to let his village perish because of a past he did not choose. Elder, there is a way to stop this, Aid, but it will not be easy. You must journey to the spirit world and face the warrior. Only then can you break the curse. Aid, how? Aid asks, his voice trembling slightly. How do I get to the spirit world? Elder, there is a shaman, deep in the forest. He alone knows the way. But beware, for the journey is treacherous, and many who seek the spirit world do not return. The elder's words linger in the air, heavy with the weight of the task ahead. Aid knows he must go. He must find the shaman and venture into the unknown, for the sake of his village and for himself. But the path that lies ahead is shrouded in darkness, and with each passing day, the warrior's rage grows stronger. With a heavy heart and a mind full of questions, Aid sets out into the forest. The sun hangs low in the sky, casting long shadows through the trees. As he walks, each step feels heavier than the last, as if the weight of the curse presses down on him with every passing moment. The village disappears behind him, swallowed by the dense trees. Ahead, the forest stretches on endlessly dark and foreboding. Somewhere within it lies the shaman, the only one who can guide him to the spirit world. Narrator. The forest is no ordinary place. It has long been rumored to be haunted by spirits, some good, some evil. As Aid moves deeper, the air grows thick with an otherworldly energy. The trees seem to whisper, their branches creaking as if alive. But Aid pushes forward, his mind set on the shaman. He knows the village's fate depends on him. As the light fades and night creeps in, Aid finally spots a faint glow in the distance. It is not the warm, comforting light of a fire, but a cold, pale light, flickering like a dying star. As he approaches, he sees a figure hunched over a small fire, their face obscured by shadows. The shaman. Shaman. I have been expecting you, Aid. Aid, how do you know my name? He asks, though deep down he is not surprised. This forest, this journey, it all feels like a twisted dream. Shaman. The spirits told me. They whisper your fate even now. The shaman gestures to the darkness beyond the fire. You seek the spirit world. But beware, young one, for the path is perilous. You may face things far worse than death. The shaman's words send a chill down Aid's spine, but he does not falter. He knows what is at stake. The shaman rises, their movements slow and deliberate, and begins to chant in a language that Aid does not understand. The air around them begins to shift, growing colder, heavier. The ground trembles beneath Aid's feet, and the world seems to blur at the edges. It is as though reality itself is unraveling. Shaman. Commanding. Close your eyes, Aid. The journey begins now. When Aid opens his eyes again, the forest is gone. He stands in a place that is both familiar and alien. The sky is a deep, unnatural red, and the ground beneath his feet shifts and moves like liquid. In the distance, ghostly shapes drift through the air, their forms distorted and twisted. This is the spirit world. The air here is thick, suffocating, and every breath feels like a battle. Aid feels the weight of countless eyes upon him, spirits watching, waiting. He knows that not all of them are friendly. The spirit world is a place of chaos and madness. Time and space have no meaning here. One moment, Aid is standing in a desolate wasteland. The next, he is surrounded by a forest of trees made of bone. The landscape shifts with every step, as if the world itself is alive, reacting to his presence. As he walks, the ghostly figures move closer. Some are faint, barely visible, while others are more defined. Warriors, villagers, all lost to time. They whisper as they pass, their words a mixture of warnings and riddles. Spirit 1. Beware the warrior. His rage knows no bounds. Spirit 2. He seeks vengeance for the blood that was spilled. The spirits speak of Kelechi, the warrior Aid must face. Each step forward brings him closer to the heart of the spirit world and to the warrior's resting place. But the closer he gets, the more dangerous the journey becomes. Suddenly, the ground beneath Aid shifts violently, and a figure rises from the earth. It is a spirit, but unlike the others. This one is angry, vengeful. Its eyes glow with an unnatural light, and its voice is like the grinding of stone. Spirit, roaring, filled with rage. You, descendant of the betrayers, you will not pass. Battle ensues between Aid and the vengeful spirit. The spirit lunges at Aid, its form shifting and twisting, making it difficult to see. Aid barely has time to react as the spirit strikes, its ethereal claws slicing through the air. He dodges, his heart racing, but he knows he cannot run forever. Aid fights back, trying to find a way to defeat the spirit. In a moment of desperation, Aid recalls the words of the elder. The spirits are tied to the past, just as you are. With that in mind, he reaches out, calling to the spirit not with fear, but with understanding. Aid, calling out, I am not your enemy. I did not betray you. Spirit, you carry their blood, but you are not them. The spirit wavers, its form flickering like a dying flame. Aid's words reach it, and slowly, the spirit fades into the air, its anger dissipating. But as it vanishes, it leaves a warning. Spirit, whispering as it fades, the warrior awaits. Narrator. With the spirit gone, Aid presses forward. The path ahead is clearer now, but the true test still lies ahead. The warrior Kelechi waits for him at the heart of the spirit world, and when they meet, only one will leave the spirit world alive. The spirit world twists and changes with each step Aid takes. But now, as he moves closer to the heart of this realm, the air grows colder. He knows the moment has come, the moment when he must face Kelechi, the ghost warrior who once fought for honor but now seeks vengeance. The ground beneath Aid's feet begins to tremble as the wind howls like a chorus of forgotten souls. His heart races, but the voice of the shaman echoes in his mind. Shaman's voice, in Aid's memory, guiding. Remember, Aid, it is not strength alone that will save you, but your understanding of the past. You are tied to Kelechi, but you must make him see beyond his rage. Suddenly, the ground in front of Aid cracks open, and from the depths of the spirit world, Kelechi rises. His once proud form is now twisted by centuries of anger. His armor is tattered, his face hidden behind a mask, but his eyes, those burning, hateful eyes, lock onto Aid. Kelechi, you have come to die, descendant of traitors. Aid, I have not come to fight you, Kelechi. I came to right the wrongs of the past. Narrator. Kelechi steps forward, each movement heavy with the weight of his fury. The earth shakes beneath him, as though the spirit world itself trembles in his presence. He raises his spear, the same weapon he once used to defend his people, now twisted into a tool of destruction. Kelechi, right the wrongs. You cannot undo what your bloodline has done. I was betrayed, left to rot by those I called brothers. And now, I will destroy all of you. Narrator, tense, as the conflict escalates. With a roar, Kelechi lunges at Aid, his spear cutting through the air with deadly precision. Aid barely dodges, stumbling back as the ground beneath him cracks and splinters. But even as fear grips him, he remembers the elder's words. Kelechi's anger is not his to bear alone. He must make him understand. Aid, shouting, desperate. Kelechi, listen to me. I am not the one who betrayed you. I carry their blood, but I am not them. But Kelechi does not hear. His rage has consumed him, blinding him to all reason. He strikes again, and this time, Aid has no choice but to defend himself. He grabs a fallen branch from the spirit world's twisted landscape and uses it to block the next blow. The force of Kelechi's spear sends Aid crashing to the ground. His vision blurs, but through the pain, He remembers the shaman's final words before he left for the spirit world. Shaman, voice from memory, echoing. The spirits are bound by the past, Aid. But you must free them. Aid struggles to his feet, blood dripping from a cut on his forehead. His strength is failing, but his resolve remains. He looks up at Kelechi, seeing not just a ghost, but a warrior, a man who once fought with honor, a man who was wronged. Aid, I know your pain, Kelechi. I know what it's like to be betrayed. But if you destroy the village, what will you have left? Nothing will bring back what was taken from you. For the first time, Kelechi hesitates. His spear lowers slightly, and behind his mask, Aid can see the flicker of something human. It is faint, but it is there, a crack in the wall of rage that has consumed him for centuries. Kelechi, they took everything from me. Aid, yes, and I cannot change the past, but I can offer you peace. Let go of your anger, Kelechi. I will honor you, as will the village. Your story will not be forgotten. The wind dies down. The storm that once raged in the distance seems to pause, as though the spirit world itself is holding its breath. Kelechi stares at Aid, and in that moment, the weight of his pain, his anger, and his betrayal hangs in the air like a heavy mist. Kelechi raises his spear one last time, but this time, not to strike. Slowly, he drives the spear into the ground at his feet. The earth trembles as his spirit begins to fade, the anger that once fueled him now dissipating into the air like smoke. Kelechi, you are not them, but the curse is not so easily broken. There will be others, in time. With those final words, Kelechi's form dissolves into the wind. The spear remains, a symbol of the warrior who once defended his people with honor. Aid stands alone now, the weight of his encounter heavy on his shoulders. The spirit world begins to fade around him, the strange landscapes and ghostly figures melting away like a dream. Slowly, he feels himself pulled back to the living world. When Aid opens his eyes, he is back in the village, standing at the edge of the forest. The sun has risen, casting warm light over the village that was once shrouded in darkness. The fog has lifted, and the villagers are beginning to stir. But Aid knows that the battle is far from over. The curse may have been weakened, but the warrior's final words echo in his mind. Aid, I will honor you, Kelechi. Your story will be told. And so, Aid returns to his people, not as a warrior, but as a bridge between the living and the dead. The village is safe for now, but the memory of Kelechi and the betrayal that began it all will live on. For Aid knows that the past is never truly gone, and that one day, the spirits may call upon him again. The sun rises high above the village, casting its golden light over the land that had, just days ago, been covered in dark. Elder, gather around, my children, the elder calls out, summoning the villagers to the center of the village. Today, we honor not only the spirits who protect us, but also the spirits of those who were wronged. The village comes together, just as the sun begins to set. A great fire is lit in the center of the square, and the elders lead a ceremony to honor the memory of Kelechi and all those who were lost in the betrayal. It is not just a celebration, but a time of reflection, a way to ensure that the mistakes of the past are not repeated. The drumming begins, low and rhythmic, and soon the villagers join in, their voices rising in song. The flames of the fire dance in the night, casting long shadows that seem to move with the music. Aid watches from the edge of the crowd, feeling a sense of peace wash over him. This, he realizes, is how the curse is truly broken, not through battle or violence, but through remembrance, through understanding. As the night deepens, Aid steps forward, joining the villagers around the fire. He knows that this is not the end of his story, nor the story of Kelechi. The warrior's tale will be passed down through the generations, just as it was told to him. But now, it will be told with honor, with truth. And as long as the story lives on, so too will the peace that Aid has fought so hard to secure. The curse has been broken, the village saved. But as the embers of the fire flicker and fade, Aid knows that the spirits will always watch over them. And when the time comes, when the next generation must face their own trials, they too will look to the past for guidance. For the past is never truly gone. It lives on, in stories, in memories, and in the hearts of those who remember.